Living longer, living healthier, living better than ever before. Welcome to Mountain Pacific's Healthy Living for Life, a weekly series that gives you the information, education, and expert insight you need to become an active participant in today's ever-changing healthcare climate. Here now is today's program host.
Today's show addresses one of the greatest fears of aging, dementia. Dementia is more than sometimes grasping for the right word or misplacing your car keys. Dementia is a category of disease that causes loss of memory and other mental functions, and it can't be cured. It robs a person of independence and steals precious time with family. I'm Beth Brown, your host. Welcome to Healthy Living for Life, a show designed to help you do just that. Stay tuned. Welcome back. My first guest today is Pamela Longmire. Pamela works with Mountain Pacific as a quality improvement specialist who works with nursing homes to improve resident care. Welcome, Pamela. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Hi, Beth. Thanks for having me.
Can we start out by talking a little bit about, when it comes to our brains, what is normal aging?
So we all notice our bodies slowing down as we age, but what we don't think about is our brains slow down too. So think of it this way. Throughout your life, your processing speed is getting faster and faster. It peaks out at about 25 to 30. At that point, once you've peaked, you start to lose half a second of processing speed a year. Now you might think, half a second, what's that? Till you get to 40. So once you reach 40, what you might start to notice is I might say, hey Beth, can you get me a glass of water? And you'll say, I didn't hear you. You want a glass of what? And before I can even say water, you'll go, oh yeah, I'll get you water. That's processing speed. So what we're trying to do is say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, when in fact it's just your processing speed. In addition to that, you continue throughout your whole life to acquire new knowledge and more information. So if you think of your brain as a file cabinet, now you have to go through all these files and find the right information.
Okay, so when we talk about our brain slowing down a little bit, that also applies to what we can and can't remember. But there is some normal forgetfulness that happens. Can you talk about the difference between normal and abnormal forgetfulness?
Yeah, and I always think that having a prop helps. So if I have this, and I know it's a key, but I can't think of the word key. But what I can say to you, dang it, you stick it in the ignition and you turn and you start it, your car, you would notice a key. But if I look at this and I'm not sure what it is, and I'm not sure what to do with it, and I want to clean my ear with it or clean my fingernails, not normal aging.
Okay, so then what is dementia?
So what dementia is it's a disease that means your brain is dying. And what a lot of people think is dementia means it's forgetfulness. But the reason you're forgetting is because your brain is dying. Dementia lasts about 4 to 12 years. And part of that is when you were diagnosed, because you can have mild cognitive impairments and a lot of things that lead into dementia. But basically, dementia means that your brain is dying. It lasts 4 to 12 years, and you start forgetting things that are important to you. It's not curable, Beth. So we have medications that can mask the symptoms, and it seems to slow the progression because it's masking the symptoms, but it's really not.
And dementia is a category, correct? There isn't just dementia. Can you talk about some of the different kinds of dementia?
Absolutely. So it's a category of a disease that has over 100 different manifestations. Now, the reason why is because dementias can combine together and form different types. Most people know about Alzheimer's disease, and Alzheimer's is right now 60 to 80% of the cases. So what happens with Alzheimer's is protein deposits build up on the brain, things don't transmit very well, and that's what is going on with Alzheimer's. Lewy body disease, that's another kind of dementia. And Dr. Lewy body was actually working in the 20s with Dr. Alzheimer's when this disease was discovered. Lewy body's popular because of Robin Williams. Everybody knows him. And what's interesting with Lewy body disease is that disease manifests itself with hallucinations and like ADD type symptoms. Another dementia would be vascular dementia, which a lot of people are familiar with. Think of multi-infarcts, small little mini strokes that take pieces away. and goes on for years. And Parkinson's disease, interesting, it can be a form of dementia. We think of it as a movement issue, but it can develop into a dementia.
Okay, and dementia isn't just something that happens to your mind, it's actually something that physically happens to your brain. What happens to your brain when you have dementia?
So now this is what I find really interesting, and I think it really helps people to understand. If you think about your brain dying, usually what happens with all dementia is this part, your frontal part of your brain dies first. So what does the frontal part of the brain do? Well, first off, that is the last part of the brain to develop, which is really interesting with dementia because you want to remember last developed, first lost. So this part of your brain, again, develops in 25 to 30 years old. Some people develop this part of their brain a little better than others. But this part of your brain says, oh wait, maybe I shouldn't say that. Oh wait, if I do that, maybe I'll get hurt. It gives you the ability to look at things and see things from the other person's point of view. It's your reasoning. So you're not going to really reason with people with dementia because they've lost that ability. The other part of the brain that starts to die is your left temporal lobe. Now what's really significant about that is if you think of your left is your language and lose. That all starts with L's, and try to keep things clear so that people can remember. So left, lose, language. What's language? When your language center is dying, that means my ability to make up sentences and have them be something you can understand and that makes sense. That's language. You talk to me, you give me directions or say something to me, my ability to figure out what you're saying, that's language. I've lost that ability. That's why it's so important to give visual cues. Are you thirsty? Do you want a drink? What time is it? Now here's what's really important for people to remember, the right side of the brain. Right, retain. And what's that? Rhythm. Rhythm is music, it's poetry. That sticks in our minds even to mid to late dementia. We can make the brain come alive, and it's so exciting. Because if we can get this right side of the brain to fire, that chemical excitement can get the other parts. So somebody who can't walk or has trouble walking can even dance if you put on music and get them going. So that's the part of the brain that really excites me, because what we want to do is we want to focus on what's left and how we can tap into what's left with a person.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Pamela. We'll talk more about dementia after this. Stay with us.